Welcome to We the People, a new birth of freedom. Certainly glad you stopped by. Please subscribe, tell your friends, your family, associates, enemies. Tell them to watch these videos, watch these YouTube videos, and leave me some comments. Ask me some questions. I'll get back to you. In the last video, we looked at how politicians can look at the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, take an oath to support and defend and protect those sacred documents that have allowed us to live free, unlike any other people on the face of the earth. They look right at them, they stare at them, they take oaths, and then they spit on them. Governor Wallace was such a pathetic example. He should have been tried for treason. That's not what we stand for as Americans. But I realize, and I have realized for many, many years, that people love to live in this country. They love to take advantage of its freedoms, of its possibilities. They love to engage in the capitalist society that we have and become wealthy and affluent. But they're not real, true Americans. They want to alter those sacred documents. That's our inheritance. Those are the crown jewels of true American patriots. And we're not going to stand by and let them be destroyed by any politician, any political party. And as Governor Wallace stared at the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery and involuntary servitude, politicians today are looking at the Second Amendment with the same disdain. They hate it. And their excuse is, well, we've got to do something to stop these mass shootings. Well, you know, we've had laws on the books for decades and decades and centuries and millennials against murder, rape, theft, burglary. Has it stopped anything? Against arson? Has it stopped anything? No. It's just a weak, spineless, flimsy excuse to take away the power of defense from true American patriots. Their legislations, their laws, their statutes doesn't stop any crime in any way, shape, or form. Never has, it never will, because the laws are made for the lawless. They make laws. The purpose of making laws is for prosecution and punishment of those who violate the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence. That's what those laws are for. They're not for the individual that is accountable, responsible, and maintains respect and dignity as true Americans. They don't get that, though. They're still arguing over what's the militia? What is it? Are you serious? Harvard, Yale graduates still arguing over, well, what is the militia? What does well-regulated mean? Well, why don't you ask yourself, what does peaceable assembly mean in the First Amendment? What does it mean? What does peaceable assembly mean in the First Amendment? What does due process mean? See, these are key phrases in those first 10 amendments that lets us know how we, the people, are to conduct ourselves as true American patriots who respect, support, and defend our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution, and our Bill of Rights. There's no difference between assembling peacefully and making our grievances known to the government. There's no difference in that wording than a well-regulated militia. It means that we live peaceably until we must defend ourselves. It means that we live constrained by the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, until we must defend ourselves. Doesn't mean that we just fly off the handle and kill somebody just because we don't like what they say, we don't like what they do. No. Self-preservation of ourselves, our family, our property, and the lives of others. But a well-regulated militia certainly is not any government entity in any way, shape, or form, because common sense tells you that if we're going to have a Navy, if we're going to have an Army, if we're going to have Marines, if we're going to have an Air Force, it's automatic that they have armaments. Why would our founding fathers use the wording shall not be infringed if it meant a government entity? Of course, a government entity is going to stockpile armaments, and those armaments will evolve as technology advances. That's just common logic. You see, politicians they don't even have common logic anymore. They're incompetent, they're borderline insane, they're power hungry, they're tyrants, and they want to control you. Well, they're not going to. They can threaten with executive orders, they can try to sanction places in the business world that sell firearms and ammunition. Go ahead, try it. You're only going to cause a problem, just like the King of Britain did when he did not want our founding fathers to live free. He wanted to keep them under his thumb, under his rule of tyranny. Our founding fathers said, nope. We've told you why we can't live that way anymore. And so therefore, you let us live free or someone's going to die. And people died. It's the same today. It's no secret. We're going to live free or someone's going to die. It's just that simple. What part of that don't you understand? You can call me anti-American, but I'm not. I'm a true American. I'm a true American patriot. You're not. You that oppose or attempt in any way, shape, or form to infringe upon the Second Amendment. Have you ever looked up what that word means? Do you even care what it means? Of course you don't care. Shall not be infringed. And that well-regulated militia, believe it or not, to all you political idiots out there, to all you political incompetent idiots, the well-regulated militia is in existence every day in the United States of America. Where are they at? Well, you don't have to look very far. Millions times millions of American citizens, American patriots, are a well-regulated militia. They are accountable, they're disciplined, they're trained, they have many firearms, and they don't kill people unless in self-defense. Millions times millions times millions display what that Second Amendment was actually saying. We live it out every day. We don't go out and shoot people. We don't commit mass murders. Why don't the news media, why don't politicians stand up there and say millions times millions of gun owners out there represent the well-regulated militia because they don't commit homicide unjustly. They don't commit murder unjustly. They don't commit mass suicide or mass homicides in any way, shape, or form. They don't kill people unless it's in self-defense, to protect their property, their family, maybe a neighbor. It's a well-regulated militia. It's being lived out right before them, and they can't even see it. I can't believe the pathetic lack of intelligence, common sense. They can't even read anymore. They don't even know what words mean anymore. They don't even care what words mean. That's why they're constantly trying to redefine, reframe, restructure the very fundamentals of human language and what it means and what it represents. It's reprehensible. It's pathetic. It's anti-American. They are tyrants. They're guilty of treason. Well, let's sanction. Let's repeal. Let's abolish the Second Amendment. You can't do it. This is America. Your signatures are not on those founding documents. Walk away, leave it alone, or you're going to cause an uprising, a revolution, like you've never seen before. It'll make the War for Independence look like kindergarten. Are you ready for that? Because now, millions times millions times millions of those that are part of the American militia, law-abiding gun owners, are ready for you. We're trying to abolish and do away with our freedom. It's not going to happen, people. You say, are you threatening us? Nope. It's a constitutional fact. It's a Bill of Rights fact. It's a Declaration of Independence fact. Are we anti-government? No. We're just against the government that you're trying to raise up. We're against tyrannical, despotic governments. It's just that simple. So as Governor Wallace stared at the 13th Amendment, spit on it, trampled it, and he said, I say segregation now, I say segregation tomorrow, I say segregation forever. And he wanted the blacks to have their own bathrooms, their own water fountains, their own schools, their own restaurants, to sit in the back of the bus. These people today who look at the Second Amendment, look at those words that talks about we the people, private citizens who make up an accountable, responsible, trained militia, and that Second Amendment shall not be infringed. They look right at it, spit on it, trample it, and say, well, we don't care. We're going to legislate laws that'll repeal it, abolish it, do away with it, restrict it. Just like Governor Wallace sounded off his pathetic nonsense. Well, you want a war? Keep going the direction you're going, because you're going to get one. This well-regulated American patriotic militia will raise up. We are ready to defend, protect, preserve the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights as it is written, not as you're trying to redefine it, reframe it, or abolish it. This is not Europe. This is not Australia. This is not any other country. This is America. We're independent. We're sovereign. We're sovereign as a nation, and we're sovereign as a people. We're self-governing. We prove it every single day. The only people that go into a school, a shopping center, a restaurant, anywhere, and commit mass murder with a gun are criminals. You politicians, take care of those. Take care of the laws that's already on the books. Leave our freedom alone. We are the Americans. We are a well-regulated militia. We live it, we prove it, we demonstrate it every single day. There's millions and millions of us. There's millions and millions of guns out there. We prove it. Can't you see that? Well, one day, if you can't see it now, you will feel the effects of it later if you try to take it away. We're not going back under tyrannical rule. We're not going back under the political thumb as it was in the days of the King of Britain. No, we're not going back there. If anything, we're moving forward, building upon our freedoms, becoming more accountable, more responsible. So until next time, be an American. God bless.